All right, I'd like to welcome you all to Working with Portraits, designed to support the school annual yearbook program. Our goal this afternoon will be focusing on the functions of the program associated with student portraits. Specifically, we will be reviewing printing class sheets for other teachers or parents or whoever is helping to review and correct images and names, strategies for detecting duplicate images, correcting student names, categorizing students, and using the flow functions to create portrait pages. This webinar will be approximately 30 minutes. So let's go ahead and get started. So as you log into the system, we're going to go and we're going to print a class sheet. And the reason for this is as your images are uploaded, you want to double check one, make sure the correct image is being used. Two, make sure that the names are spelled correctly because you may have a name that has a Y instead of an I, or it may be like John, John, or Jon. So you want to make sure the correct name is being used. And so to do that, and also you may want to print this out so that a student that's not supposed to be photoed or have their photo featured in the book for whatever reasons, legal reasons or personal, whatever it may be, that the student can be identified to. So to do that, we're going to go to create and we're going to go to our image library right here. All right. So once your portraits are uploaded, they will be located here under portrait. So we're going to go to our first class right here. And so to print a preview of this class, we're going to click on this right here. We're going to come up to preview and we're going to click on preview. This will open up in a PDF. So right here, you will have a list of students and their name underneath it. So you can print this off and give it to the teacher or give it to your assistant to go around and make sure all of this is printed off correctly. And then they can make any changes underneath it or cross out a student that's like, nope, that's not my student, that's this person's student, or whatever changes that need to be made then. All right, so we're going to pretend that our list is being out there, being corrected, and we're going to move on to the next thing, and that is editing a class list. There's two different ways to do this. First off, we're going to show you this way. You can actually go to create and then down here to coverage report. Coverage report will have all the names of all your students right here. So those are all of your students, and you can correct any spelling without having to hunt down the student and what class they're in. And it's real time. So whatever corrections you make in here will be made in the image library. So this Emily right here, if I can change that Y to an IE. And as soon as I click off of it, it's changed in the image library. So that's one thing to remember. If you do this part, it is automatically changed in the image library. Here is one thing that's really important right here is number of times used in book. Here you can see how many times this person's or this student has been used in the book other than just their portrait. A lot of times schools will have a policy in place that the student must be featured at least one additional time other than just their portrait picture. So this is where you can see that if they're at least once, twice, three times, or something like that. You can view it right here to see how many times that student has been put in the book, and right here you can see what pages they are in the book right here. So that's right here with the coverage report. Again, to reiterate, what you change here is changed in the image library in terms of the name. So we're going to come back to the image library. And now that we have our list back, our imaginary list here, we're going to make some changes. So some of the things that might happen is you might have, like this student right here, you may have two of the same student, two images that just got put on there. So to you can either do one of two things. One, you can click on the image here, and you can come up to delete, and you can just delete the image altogether. Or if you don't know which image the parent may want to use for safety, you may want to one, click on the image, come up to tag name, click on detail. Then the second one right here says use portrait. If you click the down arrow right here, you'll see there's other options. So we want the one that says don't use portrait. We're going to click on that, apply changes, and then click done. Here you will see a notice that says don't use. That means the system will not use that photo at all. So then we go to this next person right here. The other thing we could do is click on the image, click on this little blue button right here, brings up the same screen, go to details, under use portrait, click the down arrow, don't use portrait, apply the change, and done. Same thing. Just two different ways of getting to the same thing, whatever you feel comfortable with. Other things people may come up with is say, this student right here is not even in this class. So we need to move this student to her proper class. So what we can do is we can click and hold and then drag. As we're dragging this image, we can see that this image is kind of ghosted, kind of faded. And then as we're dragging it, please make sure your microphone is muted. There we go. So click and hold the image, drag the image over. You'll see that it's kind of faded, ghosted, or kind of have a transparency here. And then you can drag it to the class it's supposed to be in. And here you will see that the folder is highlighted. The word move is right here next to the number. So just as soon as you find the folder, just let go of the mouse button. You'll see that the student is moved. If we click on this folder right here, the student is now moved into the correct folder. And so you can do this for others. It could be also that maybe these students, and if you need to move bulk, you can click on the first student, holding the shift, click on the last student, and you will see that these students are highlighted right here. If you need specific students, you can click on one student holding the control key, click another student, and then another student. And then you have selected students right there that you can always click and hold, move to another folder, and then those students are now moved. For any reason that you have a student that cannot be in the yearbook, their image cannot be used for, like I said, legal reasons or for personal reasons or whatever reason it may be, you can click either on the blue button right here or on the tag name, come up to details, and then under use portrait, there is another option that will says used no photo. So we're going to click that, apply and change, and then done. And then it says no photo. So what's going to use is the system's default no photo. We'll show you what that looks like when we get to flowing that image. In fact, I'm going to go to this class right here, and I'm going to do that to this student because we're going to use this class to flow because I got a few less students, a little bit closer realistic number. So we're going to do that to that one. All right. Now we're going to talk about tagging student images and tagging images and no photos. We're going to do that two things in one here. So the first thing we're going to talk about is no photos. So one of the things that um, if your photographer has a folder called no photo and they send that to us to for upload, then you will get a folder with no photos in it. If your photographer does not do that, then you're going to have to get your own no photo because we don't have the upload team doesn't have a photo. They just upload no photos to. Your photographer has to send that folder in. that we do have in within our system no photos. To get to those, it's very simple. We're going to come over here to clip art, type, borders. We're going to scroll down here, and then from here to here, we have no photos right here. So if you find one that you like, say we like this one right here, we can come up to download, go to our pictures right here, and then just click save. I already did on this earlier, but or this one, whatever one that you want to select, you can select either one. Then we're going to come back up to our portraits. We'll go into our class right here. All right, we're going to click on upload, and then we can upload image or drag and drop it in, whatever. Select the no photo that we want to use. Click on open, and there's our no photo. And you'll have to do this for each student that needs a no photo. So to tag this image or to any image, say if you have a student that come in late, you snap their photo real quick and you've uploaded it, but you need to tag that image. So to do that, we're going to click on that no photo or their image, whatever what it is. Come up here to tag names, and we're going to click on add. Then here we can add their first name. Oh, all right. So here we can type their first name, their last name, and then we just hit save. And then this image is now considered tagged. You will see this pop up through the lines, the pencil. This is now showing you that the image is now tagged, or it's now named, or that name that you just typed in is now associated with this particular photo. And we click done. You will see that next to each one of these photos in the bottom left hand corner, it's a green tag. That is what indicates that this photo has been tagged. And you will see right here, this no photo has this green little like price tag. That means it's been tagged. So, and you will notice that the image that the no photo went from right about here to the end. That is because as you tag images, the image will fall in order according to last name. So the image library is sorted by last name. All right, so check it over to make sure I've covered everything. All right. So next, we're going to talk about the flow function. So we're going to go to create in a page designer. All right. And real quick, if you're creating something and you move on to like the image library to make any changes or whatever, if you go to create in a new page designer, it will take you back to the very page that you were just working on. It's a little tip there. So here we're on our pages and we need to flow our images from our portraits onto the page. To do that, we're going to come over here to the left. You'll see the pages, design, images, text, flow. We're going to click here on flow. Here we have 6 flow options right at the top. We have your traditional name on the left, name on the right here. We have the names on the top, names at the bottom, and then we have names next to each one of the images. Now, one thing you will see, we'll pull the traditional names on left, and then right here, we'll use these two as good examples right here. You will notice there's two distinct differences between these two, and that is one has a lot of slots, the other one does not. So we're going to talk about how to get these to where we need them and how do we need them to function or and stuff like that here real shortly. So first off, We're going to click on the one here to that with the names on the left. As we click on these, you're going to notice right here at the top, there's a toolbar that opens. If you click off of them, toolbar disappears. Click on them, toolbar is right there. So that toolbar is associated with this flow chart right here, this flow element. In this toolbar right here, the first off is you have your font. So you can actually select the font for the different names. And then right here is the style. You don't have to worry about that. Next is the font size. So you can change the size of the font. Um, be careful changing the size of the font because right here you're going to see red X. That means that the letters are larger than the box that it's going in. So that means you have more typed than what can be displayed. And we'll talk about editing that here shortly. Now, the only reason this is displaying like this is because I have a lot of images. And we're going to talk about shortening this up in just here in a second. Next is the color. This is for the text. So the A right here is for your text. And you can select different type right here or different color right here for your text. Next is this stroke line. This is a border around your boxes. You can either go this way with it, or you can come over here to the size of the stroke line and just add one. It'll just add. You don't have to first do this and then do this. You can just come straight over here and just add one. All right. Next, you will have bold, italic, underline. Some fonts will not let you select bold or italic. It's just because of the way the font is set up. But you would have like underline, and then right here is you can go the original. You can go all lowercase, all uppercase. We're going to go back to original. Then next is probably the most important part right here, right in the middle. These tiny little dots kind of looks like a little waffle. These are your flow options. So when you click on this, the first thing you're going to see is automatic. We're going to ask you to uncheck automatic, and the reason is if you reduce the number of rows, you see the boxes are stretching, and that's because it's trying to maintain that shape, this shape that's going from the top to the bottom of the page. So go back up here to 8. There we go. So what we're going to do is same thing with columns. As we do that, you'll see them they're stretching wider. So what we're going to do is uncheck automatic, and by doing that, you will see that the rows are actually disappearing. So it's shortening that up. So next is rows and columns. Rows are left and right. Columns are up and down. So we're going to reduce the number of rows to, let's see, 5. And we're going to come over here to category here real quick because we're going to select the class that we want to flow on here. We're going to look right here and we're going to see it has 26 images. So we need to have at least 26 slots for this. So we can go maybe one more row and let's go, let's go 5 columns. All right. So now that we did that, we see that we have a lot of room here to the sides. So now we can adjust these blue boxes right here. We can make those just a little bit bigger. So that's where this next one, portrait dimensions, width and height come in. So we can adjust the width by clicking up and the height by clicking up. We can also click inside this little box and say we don't want that as a 6. We want that as a 5. Or don't want that as a 0. We want that as an 8. So we can kind of play around with the width and the height a little bit. So you can fine tune it as you wish. Next is portrait spacing. This is horizon and vertical. This is the spacing between the boxes. So you can put a little bit more spacing between those boxes up or down. Typically, I wouldn't mess with this with these kind. Maybe on this other one, I'll show you a little bit. But typically with the left and right, with the names on the left, names on the right, I wouldn't really mess with spacing. But this just changes the spacing um, between the boxes. Name width, it just is changes right here. The if you have longer names, you can click that up, and you can see right here it will provide a little bit more spacing between the names. Right here, you have portrait shapes, and you can actually change the shapes of the portraits if you wish. Rectangle is the only one that will have this option right here. You can actually just round the corners off just a little bit. So then next, here, next under name options, here you would have you could change the location of the name. So if you have the names on left horizon, say you move this over to the other side, instead of reinventing the wheel or redoing what you just did, just come over to names on the right horizontal, and it just changes the name on the right, and then you can just move this over here. All right. So once you have everything done, you can actually come back over here to the left. Under category, we're going to select our teacher right here. Name format is first last. That means the first name will be first, last name will be last. Right here, we see the number of images we have is 26. Number of images remaining, 26. Start and stop. A lot of people get confused with this, and it trips a lot of people up. Your start and stop is your page. We're going to start on page 48, and we want to stop on page 48. Now you'll see this red bar right here. This is new this year. This red bar will tell you that you do not have enough spots on your page. This will let you know that there's only maybe 25 of 26 spots on the page. So you'll need to you'll need to adjust your flow element here a little bit. Uh, Now, once we hit save, you're going to see this red bar go away because we do have enough spots here. So we're going to save our work. This saving it lets the system know that there's been changes made to the page, and it will adjust itself accordingly. So here we go. We made changes. Now we have 30 available positions. If we were to move this to page 29, it will tell us that we have 16 available positions. So we're going to move back to 48, and here will tell us that we have 30 positions available. We're going to come down here to this purple button right here that says flow, and we're just going to click on flow, and there we go. The photos are now on the page. You can take a look at them. You will see that the blue boxes right here are now they're not gone. They're just turned off. So if we were to reset this, and let's say you had another student come in, and their image is now in here, ready to go, reset your flow. Double click on just one of the blue boxes. Here in the upper right-hand corner, you will see that there's an eye. If I click on that eye, it just turns the box on, turns the box off. So I can turn that box back on, click over to the side, and you'll see that box is now brought back. So once we flow, any unused boxes just go to a um, hidden phase, or they just shut off. And it just reminds me that I made changes to the pages without saving first and then flowing. So it's going to come that you'll get that little pop up that says, "Hey, you want to save first before you flow." So real quick, we had that one student that couldn't be in the book, and here is his default no photo right here. So we have that just that regular default no photo, and then here is our no photo right here. Now, one of the things you will notice, a lot of schools like to have the teacher first. Here, you will notice the teacher is right here. This is one thing that I'm glad that this did this. It's an easy fix, and I will tell you how to do it real quick. That doesn't require a lot of work. It's super simple. It's a nice little trick that I found out. So if you scroll down to find her image, leave the images still float in there. A lot of times people will reset the image, change it, and then reflow, and then you'll see this teacher still right here. That's because you have to leave the page, come back, or leave or get another class and come back. But you don't have to do that. Just leave it float like this. Come down to the teacher. This little orange, well, no, sorry, not orange, sorry. This little circle with the letter I in it. If you click that, it will pop this screen up right here. We're going to come over to details. We're going to come over here to type. type is underneath the use portrait, you're going to see that this teacher is listed as a student. There is a hierarchy within the system right here. Teachers will flow first, followed by assistant, student, and then other. So we want to change her to a teacher. So she's going to flow first. Then we're going to click done. Then we're going to click reset, flow again, and then the teacher's right up there. So it's just that simple. So we did it the other way. Here, let me come back here. So we're going to flow this class, and then you'll get a little pop up. You know what? Let's go back to this class and let's switch her back. And I'm going to show you what I mean by if we did it the other way. So if you reset the flow and then go down to change her image uh, to a student, well, from a student to a teacher, and then go to reflow, you will see that her image is still right here. So to fix that, you would have to reset again and then reflow, and then her image is right up there. That's why I say just leave it already flowed. Make your changes over to the left, then reset and reflow, and it will fix that immediately. All right. So next over here, we're going to talk about these. Now, before when we went into our flow options, we were changing the rows and columns. Here with this flow element, we actually have to change the width and the height. And that's the difference between this one and this one on the left and this one on the right is one, you have to change the number of rows and columns and adjust the height accordingly. The other one, you just have to change the number of, you have to start with the width and height and then adjust the number of rows and columns. So here we can adjust here, maybe adjust here, bring those in. Now, if you're trying to add another column, you may get this little error right up here at the bottom. And this just lets you know that this flow element does not want to leave the blue boundary right here. So if you get that, you may have to readjust like the height, the width, how, or simply moving it over to the side. Sometimes that can work, or coming over here to the width and changing that 3 to a 0 just enough that you can add that one more column. So you may have to tweak things out just a little bit. But same thing, we're gonna switch that to 29 and 29. We're gonna click on save because we made changes to the pages and we have to let the system know we did. Here you're gonna see 30 images. Click on flow, and there we go. The only difference is the names are now at the bottom instead of the sides. Now, here, real quick, I'm going to show you how to fix this issue right here. So, let's say you flowed your pictures, but you're seeing red X's underneath the names or next to the names, whatever. To fix this, you would have to click on them, reset, come over here to font size, and then just readjust the font. You can the font numbers are in even numbers, but if you need to adjust them just down by one, you can click inside, use the backspace on the 4 there and change that to a 3. And then you can see that everything is shifted. Click on flow. And then you will see like not all the names are in red, but some are. So you may have to reset and just keep playing with the font until you find one that will fit. There are some names that are just uh, long names. So in a case like that, for something like this one right here, that's where your portrait, well, your portrait spacing may come in. You may have to um, you may have to adjust the spacing between the names. In vertical is where you do that. So you may have to put like maybe point 0.1, point 0.2, point 0.3, point 0.4. You may have to do like 3P2 just to add just a little bit enough room to put that extra long name in there. Now, real quick, if you don't want to use any of these, you want to use something that's already pre-made, you can come over to Designs. Then we're going to click this little down arrow right here. We're going to come down to Portrait. First, you can come to All Portrait, or if you want to get a certain size, you can do that. If you know you have a particular number, like 21 to 30, you have somewhere in between there, you can click on that. And here's all the portraits or all the templates that have those numbers in mind. You can find one that you wanted to use, click and hold, drag it onto the page, let go. It will ask you, do you want to retain any existing content? It's like your background, any other things. Just click on yes right here, and you have a template. And then you already have your flow element ready to go. It's already pre set up for you. All you have to do is just go back to flow, tell it what page, make sure you save it before you flow, just flow your class, and then you can just um, do whatever you need to do with these as you see fit. All right. And yes, there are left and right, um, left and rights to these pages. So, all right. So let me read this here real quick, and then we'll open it up to any questions. So, real quick, I want to thank you for joining us this afternoon. The demonstration of the functions related to the creation of portrait pages should eliminate some of the trial and error that occurs when creating your yearbook. Printing portrait sheets and editing class data ahead of time should result in better accuracy on some of the most important pages of a book. Feel free to join us next time where we look at creating activity pages and candid pages. Have a great day. Now, I will open it up to questions. If any of you have any questions, you can either type it in or you can go ahead and take yourself off mute and ask your questions. Expanding a flow. Yes, I can. All right. For whatever reason you need to expand a flow, you can. All you have to do is, with it selected, once you have the image has flowed, come back over here to options and then come up here to sorry, come up here to flow options. It's this last tab right here that will pop up once it's flowed. uh, then all you have to do is click right here that you understand that once you expand the flow, then these turn into in, image frames and text boxes. It's no longer a flow element. You can no longer flow out of them, you can no longer flow into them. So once you expand that, you will see the center of them change to a portrait folder. These are now individual text text boxes, and these are now individual frames. How do I get access to this recording? The recording will be sent out to everybody. Um, I want to say either today or tomorrow. We'll have to figure something out because when I sent reminders out, they actually shut my email off because I sent too many emails at once. So um, they will be found. They can easily be found here on our YouTube channel. It will automatically be put up there, but I do like to send everyone their own link to it that signed up for it. Uh, but again, if you don't get it either later on today or tomorrow, this is where it'll be found. This is where all of our recordings are found. Are right here. We post them just because it's a nice central location. Everybody can get YouTube. Um, one way or another, they can get to YouTube. So like I said, if you have any more questions about flowing or anything else about the program, please let me know. I can answer it right now. Hey, you are welcome.